Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Mike Zakarian.
Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Oh, I see the cameras moved. Maybe that was in my insanity that happened on Monday for Live Before Lock when diapers hit the fan. What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are having a day. Happy Wednesday. I went to bed early last night. That was kind of one of well, that's actually not true. I still kind of doom scrolled for a little bit, but hope everybody is having a nice little morning. Who do we got? We got Sneeps up in here. We got the Common Man. We got Garen. We got Sneeps with a bunch of emojis. Yotes is here. Big happy birthday to James Willis Neesmith. Very exciting. Bowdivine's here. We got Jump Shooty. We got Boston Base. Yeah, nobody can save your Top Shot bags. Not even Mets. RIP Mets and Beta. That was a fun. Mets might as well work for Dapper in the way that he gets let go from things. We got a bunch of stuff. we got a bunch of stuff we got to do today. Just a heads up. Here's what we've got we got a lot of content today. All right. We got a lot of content. I feel like there was something else I was going to say before we got into the content. But we got a bunch of stuff today. We've got the VIP show will happen probably at like noon or 1 p.m. today on a little bit of a heater, by the way. If you're not tuning into the Underdog Daily show that we're doing over there, on a bit of a heater. So wow. Get on over there. That'll be probably at like 12:30 today, something like that. 89 Cavs returns tonight as well. I think either 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. I'm still figuring out what time exactly, but go check that out. Also, the Hoop Sense shorts are starting to pop around on the Instagram. So if you're not following us on Instagram, go do that. If you can't find it's at Hoop Sense Show, but if you can't find that, go follow me at Mike Zakarian and you can get access to that over there. What else we got going on? We'll have some value hunting pop up a little bit later today as well. And then obviously like Live Before Lock and the NBA bid on Friday. The other thing too, so it is November 6th, right? So a week from yesterday, the Emirates Cup gets started, right? The group stage stuff is going. I think I've already talked about this before, but confirmed we'll be out there in Vegas. And actually a little bit of a schedule update. Thanks to our friend, courtesy of our friends over at SORARE. I'm going to be there on Saturday now. And we'll be there for the semifinals as well as the finals. So if you're only going for the weekend or whatever, go check that out. We'll be there for both semifinal games and then for the finals on Tuesday. I know our guy Patty Coyne's going to be out there for some of it. So too much time in Vegas. Yeah, again. But anyways, Jump Shoot, keep trying. Not going to do it today. Not taking the bait. Not interested. But yeah, that's the action for coming up for the rest of this week. Make sure you just click and everything. Our guy Weisberg's going to join the show today. Excited to talk about him. We're going to talk with him. We're going to catch up on all of the basketball action that came in on Monday. Also, speaking of Jump Shoot, he was on Hunter's show. I forget what it's called now. The SORARE Jason show. I forget what the name of it is anyways, but go check that out. Good shit, Jump Shooting. But let's get Weisberg on in here. We'll catch up on Monday's action and then do a little bit of I don't know, maybe check in on some vibes. You get some injury stuff. And because Mike is here at some point, we're going to have to talk about Jason Tatum and Steve Kerr, I think. But Mike, what's going on, man? How are we doing? Up early this morning.
We're having a morning. Indeed we are. It is what it is, though.
Yeah.
On to a very big day of NBA hoops.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff today. Oh, it's tomorrow. Sorry. Sideline talk. There we go. Thank you, Jump Shoot. So I figured what we could do since it's been a couple of days since everybody played basketball on the studded the start times, which was a lot of fun, actually. Again, especially if you were sweating some stuff in Underdog, it was a lot of fun to just kind of every 15 minutes a game was ending. So it was a good time. But let's so what we can do is just kind of pick a couple of games from Monday to go over and just shoot the shit about here. What do you want to start with?
Let's start Cavs Bucks, man. That was a fantastic game. That was the early game on Monday, or one of the games in the early slate.
Yeah.
And first and foremost, no Giannis, which we're going to get into some Dr. Zakarian stuff a little later.
Yeah.
But a fantastic game. Dame has an unbelievable scoring outburst, including nearly hitting the game winner.
Yeah.
Drops 36, 11 of 22 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3. Real Portland vibes from him. that night. Unfortunately, Donovan Mitchell was better. Really, it was a Darius Garland night. 39 points, 15 of 22, 7-11 from three. Mitchell hits a game winner. Just like one of those games that you sit back and like, oh, this is fantastic basketball. But by the way, the Bucks are now 1-6.
Yeah, 1-6. They let up
It's bad to worse.
They let up 116 points again. They just continue to get cooked on defense. I mean, like if you want to be glass half full for Milwaukee, they lost to an undefeated team twice by a total of 3 points, right? So they're like barely lost. But I mean, they're just not getting the scoring out. I mean, they're not getting the defensive output that they need. And it's definitely like there was a report from Shams in the last couple of days that was saying there's no timetable for Mobley's return yet, like not even close to ramping up. I don't think maybe he just started 5-on-5s or whatever. So it doesn't sound like he's that close. And
you mean Middleton?
What?
You said Mobley.
Oh, did I? Sorry, yeah, Chris Middleton. Maybe I was reading Baudevine's comment.
Yeah.
Dude, Stan, I already accepted the L, Stan. I already did it. Also, I don't know if it's on my end or your end, Weisberg, but coming in a little choppy over there. But it might be on my end. But the other thing, yeah, with Middleton, it's not Middleton coming back doesn't necessarily make the defense all of a sudden better. So I'm a little concerned for Milwaukee. I don't really know how they get better. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see, like, if all of a sudden they learn how to play defense, maybe. And it's only 2 weeks, right? It's only 2 weeks, so who knows? But, dude, how about the Cavs, man? I know we started with the Bucks. The Cavs 8-0. 8-0, just running through the teams. Darius Garland coming back is sick, man. Darius Garland is sick. Yeah, Wemby is a little bit better than Bagley, sure. But Garland going for 39 and 8 was pretty fun to watch. And again, really good for my bag. So shout out Evan Mobes. The other team that I wanted to talk about, or one of the other games I wanted to talk about in the Ja Morant stuff. Like, I know the Memphis Grizzlies lost that game to the Brooklyn Nets. I was just switching over to Mike. Can you hear me? Okay. I can't hear you though. We can't hear you, Mike. I know you're still talking, but we can't hear you. So yeah. Here, give me. I'll put you backstage. Give me a thumbs up when you're back. You think? But Ja Morant made two sick ass layups, and it looked like I thought it was the same layup that I was seeing, but it was two different ones in that game. And he was great, man. He was great. But Brooklyn's supposed to be in the tanking streets. You back, Mike? You back? There we go.
Yeah, we should be.
Brooklyn's supposed to be in the tanking streets. Are 4-4 right now, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah, with Brooklyn, it's crazy. I feel like they're going to be making some deals sooner than later at this point.
Yeah,
I know they deeply want to get into the Cooper Flag sweepstakes, but it's like Dennis Schroeder's doing stuff. Cam Johnson's awesome. It's both Cams are great, honestly. It's just one of these deals with Brooklyn where it's like, oh, some teams will do this. Utah did this last year, right? Where they came out and were sort of hot early. But at some point, we're going to have to see some deals with Brooklyn where you pull the plug, take some steps back, and, the one thing for me is Ben Simmons is still playing and they're winning.
I know. I wonder, too, like, man, if Philly will turn it around. I think Philly, we'll talk about Embiid in a little bit, but Philly should turn it around at some point. But if Milwaukee's going to suck and, Miami's 500, like all these teams are 500. The Bulls are like 3-4. Like I wonder if Brooklyn, they get to February and they're still like right in it. If they're just going to try to maybe let's get some playoff revenue. I doubt it. I agree with you. I think they're going to, I think they'll go the Utah route of things, but especially because they made all of those moves to get their picks back. So it'd be weird for them all of a sudden now to start trying, but yeah, anyways, I wanted to bring up Ja because Ja's been awesome to start the season. He's been like super efficient too, man. He's been playing like they've been keeping his minutes right around 30, like 29-30. He played 33 in that most recent game, but he's just been really, really good, man. 25 and 9 in this one. So it's just good to have him back. And he's just so many highlights already to start the season.
The alley-oop sitting down, Mike, was insane. Like, loses the ball, ends up on the floor. Finds, I think it was Jaren they hit on the alley-oop, like ridiculous. And the connection between him and Zach Edey kind of becoming a thing.
Yeah, Edey's finally staying out of foul trouble.
Edey had 25, 9, and 5.
Yeah, pretty good.
Or sorry, 25, 12, and 7. I'm sorry, I was looking at Jazzland.
Yeah.
25, 12, and 7 with 4 blocks.
Yeah.
Like, for a guy who people thought may not be able to play in the NBA, kind of putting up those numbers.
Yeah, he's looked good. He's looked good. Memphis still without Desmond Bane and Marcus Smart. They've been missing contract for a little bit too, so they need to get them back. But what's another game you wanted to hit on?
Let's touch on Nuggets Raptors.
Yeah.
Another kind of Dr. Zakarian kind of thing with the Aaron Gordon news, but Jokic goes for 28, 13 and 14, his first triple-double of the year. MPJ with 19, 9, and 3. The most interesting thing to me, bench kids. Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther. Watson goes for 16, had some big buckets down the stretch. Strawther with 13 as well. You know, the concern for the Nuggets was going to be the bench, and they're going to have to put up some big numbers now that Aaron Gordon's out. And mind you, the Raptors played really well. They're going to be wrong. They did just well enough to lose. But I think the key here for the Nuggets is, can that bench sustain?
No.
Particularly given the ESPN article earlier this week, or like late last week, I guess, where Michael Porter Jr. was like, yeah, look, if we don't win the title, someone's getting moved. Probably you, Mike.
Yeah, it's probably Mike. Like, Denver's in trouble, man. I watched a lot of that game. Gordon got hurt just 4 minutes in. I mean, I believe it's 4 to 6 weeks, right, that they're going to be without him.
Mm-hmm.
Jamal Murray missed that game too after getting in the concussion protocol from, was it that game against Brooklyn? I forget where he got dinged up, but he's missed the last.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, so he's missed the last 2 games. And then, like, Toronto is, like, I'll give Toronto a little bit of love here. Toronto has been playing good basketball. Also, I see DJP in the chat. I have on my calendar for 11 a.m. to send you your reward, so don't you worry. I have it written down today. Grady Dick's been awesome. For our little 16th round best ball take here, he's been shooting insane, and I'm sure his numbers come down a little bit when IQ and Scotty Barnes returns, but he's definitely like carved out his role. Agbaji's been playing better. Jakob Poeltl was awesome in this game. He had 24 and 11. And then RJ finished with 16 and 10, 5 turnovers. And he 2 for 11 from 3. Not great, Bob. Had that last chuck with Russell Westbrook on him playing crazy defense. Russ was just inspired defense. I haven't seen Russ try like that. I honestly, if you look at the replay, it's wild he didn't foul him. Like, anytime you see somebody that jacked up, you're like, oh, he's going to foul him. Ball rimmed out, like went all the way down and then popped out. Like, if that was an arcade game, it would have counted. It would have hit the back thing. But yeah, Toronto's at least been fun in their losses, but I'm really nervous for Denver. I mean, they've beaten Toronto twice, once in overtime, once on a buzzer beating attempt. They beat Brooklyn in overtime, and that's 3 of their 4 wins. And I mean, yeah, you have Jokic, Jokic who's been awesome, but is now taking like 20 plus shots a game, and that is definitely not what he wants to be doing. And if no Aaron Gordon, I mean, he's such an important piece of that offense. That means Peyton Watson, who is really like not a big offensive bag, is going to have to play 30 plus minutes a game. Strawther's going to play. Like, these are the rest of the guys. Hunter Tyson played 15 minutes. Zeke Naji played 14 minutes, and they've basically given up on Naji. Dario Saric just getting DNPs already. Denver, I like the best thing going for Denver is just looking at the rest of the West, and it seems like just a big blob of teams outside of the top couple, but I think they're in trouble.
The Saric advanced numbers, mind you, small sample size, et cetera, are so bad. Mm-hmm. He's been such a bad signing. And the interesting thing about that is they use either their mid-level exception or mini mid-level to sign him. Like, they could have gotten Buddy Hield.
Right.
The rumor was Buddy was deciding between Denver and he was deciding between Denver and Golden State, and then Denver decided to sign Saric instead because the De'Ron Holmes injury happens. Right. So it's a bit of a sliding door situation. But the one thing that I'll say more than anything else, have you seen their schedule?
Upcoming? No, but I'll pull it up over here now. Go start.
Oklahoma City at home, Miami at home, Dallas at home. Then they go at New Orleans, at Memphis back to back, which is tough. Dallas, Lakers, Knicks. That's their next month basically.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
No, that is not ideal. Speaking of not ideal, just throw another team out there. The Pelicans now. Zion has missed again. This Dr. Zakarian thing is toast now because we're talking about a lot of these guys. But Zion questionable again tonight. He's now missed 2 games in a row after being a late scratch against Atlanta. They lost to Portland. In this one. Brandon Ingram just putting up healthy numbers in losses. But I mean, like they got Simons went for 24. You had a big double from 8 and 19 and 13. This was their 3rd win of the season for the Blazers. And on the Pels side of things, I mean, man, like Missy's been fun, but like he's starting now, playing 27 minutes. And again, I like that's a fun development that he's going to be ready to go now. I don't think we like 27 minutes starting. I don't think that's what we thought was going to happen. Brandon Boston Jr.'s in their starting lineup right now, and he played well, but like just losing to the Blazers, I think the vibes are pretty bad in New Orleans. They're nervous for them. Like if Zion is going to continue to miss time, and like the hamstrings linger, man. So he's questionable tonight. Hopefully he's back, but not great.
Mike, can I just be honest with you? 34 minutes of Jose Alvarado. Too much Jose Alvarado. I like Jose. Great player. Fun player. But I don't need 34 minutes of him on any team right now.
Yeah, like, I think he like the fact like Jalen Noel, they signed to a 10-day, played 23 minutes. Like I'm with you. I think like he should be playing those 20 minutes. Like 25,
like
22.
Jamal Cain got 12 minutes, and it's like, I'll be honest with you. The other thing is like Lonnie Walker's kind of out there. Like if I was the Pels, I would look to sign him because it would not take much.
Yeah,
it's only going to cost you $500,000 to sign him. Because his buyout, according to Mark Stein, is incredibly cheap in Europe, and you can bring him over right now for no money.
Yeah, I would make sense because they're and I mean maybe they're just trying to stay above water until they get CJ and Herb, which I think they're still like 2 to 3 weeks out. DeJounte obviously going to miss a ton of time, but they can't afford to have Zion missing more time. I think do they play it? No, who do they play tonight? We pull that up. They play. Cleveland. So Cleveland should just run over them tonight. But yeah, New Orleans in a little bit of trouble. There was one other game you wanted to get to from Monday, right? Or did we already hit them all?
We talked Nuggets, Pistons, Lakers.
Yeah, dude, Detroit get a dub.
Dude, Detroit gets a dub. They're 3-5.
Mm-hmm.
It took them nearly 2 months to get 3 wins last year.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Jaden Ives has been unbelievable. Jaden in this one had 26 on 10 of 16 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3. They had a head coach last year who played Killian Hayes over him for half the season.
Right.
Like he's been great. Tobias Harris has been kind of sneaky good. He had 15. And then, they've just gotten just enough bench support. Holland has been great. Beef Stew. Malik Beasley, you get 27 points off the bench, and you can start to hear some chirping about the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean Lakers
1-3 on the road.
Yep.
AD fantastic at 37 points, but he's already hurt.
Yeah, he's questionable heading into tonight. I forget what the report is. Officially questionable with an ankle, considered day-to-day after suffering a left ankle sprain. So the tag isn't surprising. We'll see if he's good to go. I think we'll find more info, I think, during shoot around. But the AD stuff's a little weird. LeBron had a solid game in this one. Jalen Duren, though, I mean, he's stringing together a couple of good games. The turnover thing is still an issue for Cade, although only 3 in that game. Detroit basketball, the real blue wall. But yeah, Detroit's been fun, man. That's back-to-back wins for them too after they beat Brooklyn, and it was on not only back-to-back wins, but that was on a back-to-back. So that was a pretty impressive one for Detroit. And yeah, the Lakers, man, great vibes week 1, week 2, vibes coming back to earth a little bit, like you were saying. Weird stuff over there in Lakerland. And who do they play again tonight? They have why can't I see it? Why isn't it showing me that? Hold on, sorry. Oh, Memphis. They play Memphis tonight, so should be fun fantasy goodness.
Quick vibe check. D'Lo is the Lakers point guard. How are you feeling on that one right now?
I mean, I'm assuming he's going to start getting shopped here. We're right around the time where he gets put into trade rumors. I guess all it takes is Zach LaVine coming back after missing. Zach LaVine already missing time. But he comes back and drops 25. I'm sure we'll get some conversation around that. I just keep waiting for them to unleash Reeves a little bit more. I mean, he's playing 40 minutes, and I guess he took 17 shots in that game, but you'd think the ball would be running through him a little bit more.
Well, you would also think that Dalton Connect would be getting more minutes too.
Yeah,
You
right.
invest the first round pick in him, and he only played 9 minutes, 2 shots. Like, they could use size and shooting, and that's the one thing that Dalton Connect does. Now, he can't defend a lick.
Right.
You could even at least have him shoot 5 threes a game and see what happens.
Yeah. We talked good vibes here with some of these teams already, right? We talked about the Cleveland Cavaliers, who again just like undefeated, cooking. But I did want to bring up the Warriors again, man, because like they're doing like good stuff right now. So they won their most recent game against the Washington Wizards. Fun Jordan Poole, Draymond Green stuff in there. But the Warriors, dude, are right now tied for second in the West here at 6-1 with the Phoenix Suns. They have winners of 4 in a row, 2 of those games being without Steph Curry, or maybe 3 at this point. I can't remember if he only missed 2 or 3. Steph came back in the most recent game, looked great against Washington. But the Buddy Hield stuff is nuts, man. He really is. Like, even with Steph coming back, scored an efficient 20-plus off the bench in that Washington game. And Washington, obviously not like a defensive juggernaut, but, Buddy's been great. And again, I know Stan's going to write it down in his diary, another L for Zakarian. But I just did not see this type of offensive efficiency and volume from Buddy after. Because, again, people will be like, oh, this is just a toxic environment in Philly. And so that Buddy was freed from Philly. I mean, he wasn't doing this in the Indiana either. Not with this type of consistency.
Well, here's what I would say about his time in Indiana. He started really cooking with Tyrese Halliburton during the last 18 months of his time there. And a lot of it was running kind of similar off-ball actions to what the Warriors run. Right. It was a lot of ball screen action. And Hallie talked about it at the time. He's like, yeah, Buddy and I had this real connection. And Buddy was playing really well, and that's what sparked the trade to Philly. And now he's actually running the same kind of stuff with a similar style of team. Mind you, way more volume. I think there's a difference between this and Philly. But he's been fantastic. The other thing about the Warriors that I think most people are kind of underrating, they're second in defense right now.
Yeah.
Like, they're defending an high cup. Now, mind you, you look at that schedule and you say, look who they played, right? You play the Pelicans back-to-back, basically.
Utah.
Yep. Who else was it? Their other
Portland.
They blew out. Like, the only good win that they've had so far, really, if you want to talk about it, is maybe Houston in that OT game where they blew a 31-point lead.
Right.
But even then, Steph's been out for 2 games. They've had some minor injury stuff on the edges. Andrew Wiggins has had some injury stuff pop up. Wiggins, by the way, was awful the other night against the Pels.
Pels.
Sorry, in Washington. But yeah, they're unique. The one thing I'd say about them, and we're gonna see this tested tonight against Boston. I want to see how they do against the real defense, and if Buddy can keep this volume up. Buddy's been unbelievable, but he can't defend. And teams are going to target him and put him in rotation. So can he stay on the floor when they start playing some good offensive teams that will target him?
Yeah, right. Because Boston, obviously. Boston might not even be the best example of this because they're too far on the other end. But maybe with no Jaylen Brown, they come back to earth a little bit. Although I think Jaylen Brown is still officially questionable, but I don't see a world.
He's out.
It's weird. They have ranked as queued up on Underdog. But yeah, I feel like this will be a better test for Golden State to see where they actually land here. And this game is in Boston, so they have a little home court love, but that'll be a fun one. I know you wanted to talk a little bit about some quotes that came up with Steve Kerr.
Some media people hit me this morning early. I got part of the reason why I woke up is I got some text messages and people were like, "Hey, did you see these Steve Kerr comments?" And Steve basically made some comments on not the flagship station. So Steve does 2 radio hits on Tuesdays, and this one was on KMBR. And the essence of the quote, and do you mind if I play it real quick? I can play a minute of it.
Yeah, go ahead. You can share screen.
Okay, let me share screen here. We'll pull it up. So the comment is with Tom Tolbert talking about playing in Boston. We'll allow this. There we go. All right.
Super warm reception there in Boston tomorrow, won't you?
I'm excited. I think the fans are really going to cheer for me because you know what I did this past summer. I played Drew Holiday and Derek White a ton,
Yeah, you
and
did.
given that both guys are Celtics, and the fact that Tatum also played a huge role in the proceedings. All three guys, major fact. We won the gold medal. This is America. It's the day after Election Day. I think Celtics fans are going to welcome me with open arms and just to maybe even like bouquets of roses.
Maybe, you know what I'm going to call it? It's going to be loving.
Yeah.
A loving
An embrace.
loving
A warm
embrace.
embrace, yeah.
The thing that's really pissed people off over there is the played a huge role comment is not playing well in Boston. I can tell you that clip will be played quite a bit today in local radio.
I think that's such a stretch. I think that's such a stretch. I think that's the kind of being, because I think he meant that sincerely when he was saying it. Like, I think that the whole thing was in jest, right? But when he was outlining why Celtics fans should be applauding him, I don't think he was saying Tatum played a huge role to stick a knife in. Saying,
I don't disagree with you in context. What I'm saying is, we both know how that media market plays.
Yeah,
and they won't care about the context of Steve being sarcastic. What they will care about is chopping that one piece up and making it a story for the day.
But that's what when you say it's not sitting well with certain media people, I'm like, well, why? Why is that not sitting? I mean, it's so clear what was happening there.
I mean, I think the key here is it was already going to be a story, the Tatum Olympic stuff, already going to be a thing, and then you add in the idea of Steve saying he played a huge role in the team when he had 2 DNPs. The way it's just going to play in that lead up. I'm just telling you, people aren't happy, and but the other thing I'll say, Mike, is Boston. Howard Bryan did a really good quote the other day, talking specifically about this on Bomani Jones, where he was like, the thing about Boston and grievances is, you ever heard of Irish Alzheimer's?
Yeah.
It's, you forget everything but the grudge.
Right.
That's Boston, and they're gonna hold some grudges, and it's gonna be fun tonight. We're gonna be on playback covering it, but it's gonna be spicy. No JD mentioned.
Sorry, say that last part again.
No Jaylen Brown, as we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it's too bad no Jaylen Brown. I do think it'll be fun. I think the environment for it will be pretty fun, and I do think the Celtics will take it to him. I'm curious, if they if they really just beat the brakes off of them, or if they get a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter, do they leave all of their starters in and just try to beat the hell out of them, or if Golden State? I think Golden State's a competent enough team that I don't. They keep this within a reasonable distance.
The funny thing is, publicly they haven't said a whole lot about it outside of Jaylen Brown making some comments about it. Peyton Pritchard's talked about the Olympic stuff. And Missoula's made some curt comments about it, but otherwise they've kind of stood back. And I think if they blow them out tonight, they will have some pretty specific comments post game. But JT, even in post game, what was it, Monday, was like, yeah, look, Draymond's a good friend, and Steph's obviously a great competitor. I didn't say anything about the Kurt thing because he knew it would just be a story leading into Wednesday.
I actually think it should be a non-story from the Celtics perspective, because there's no upside in talking about it.
Correct.
There's no upside, so there's no reason to bring it up. I think they've already kind of done it. Just go win the game, and then you move on from that. That's how you speak to it. I wanted to do just some bad vibe stuff just to check in. So it sounds like Embiid would be cleared for basketball, but got suspended for 3 games for his altercation with the reporter out of the Philadelphia Inquirer, and
Marcus Hayes.
Yeah, Marcus Hayes. So his first game is going to be the first Emirates Cup game for the Sixers on November 12th. So he's suspended for 3 games. Go ahead.
How convenient,
Yeah, right.
time wise.
Yeah, the NBA made sure he'd be back. I get why they had to suspend him. I talked a little bit about this on Monday. They had to suspend him, or there had to be some sort of disciplinary action just because you can't do it. But I'm glad it wasn't something outrageous, like 3 games. And they probably talked to Embiid just being like, "Hey, are you ready to play yet?" And he's like, "No, but probably in a week." And they're like, "Okay, 3 games."
I wonder how much conversation was had on background with the PA. So I wonder if the NBA and the NBA PA kind of sat down with Embiid and they were like, "Look, we do need to suspend you. You know, to your point, 3 to 5 games, somewhere in that range." I actually thought it might be closer to 10. Like if this was David Stern's NBA,
Yeah,
he might be suspended for 10 or 15 games. The fact that it was 3, I actually thought was kind of light. Honestly.
yeah. I'm glad it wasn't more, only because that guy sucks, and I get that you can't do it, and you have to do something, but that guy sucks so bad, and that piece was
He
so
does, and the interesting thing is, one, we haven't seen any video or audio leak, which is kind of weird in today's day and age. The other thing about that story, and I don't know how many people actually read the full story, but to me, the funniest part about the altercation, not that Embiid hitting a reporter is funny, but Embiid being like, I don't take any of this seriously. I don't take this personal. And the reporter being like, "Yeah, but you do."
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if Embiid goes off if that guy doesn't like chime back.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you actually do feel a way about this.
Yeah.
Kind of weird, but you know, it is what it is. And Embiid suspended 3 games. Just Philly's a mess. Like, did you watch the last 5 minutes of that game the other night?
Yeah, they just gave that game away, and credit to Phoenix. Like Kevin Durant, did a really good job, just like getting to the rim late in the game. Like pretty bad defense from Philly for KD to just like blow by in that situation. But what killed me was the last possession for the Sixers. I mean, Paul, I don't know if, and I thought I saw something on this, but I don't want to say it because I'm not entirely sure. But if like Paul George was unaware of the situation and the score or whatever, but that pull-up mid jumper that he took as time was winding down with the Sixers down 2, was just kind of terrible offense.
Didn't they have 16 seconds left?
Yeah.
Like, go 2 for 1 if you can there, right? Like, take a quick jumper. You miss, you foul, you play the foul game and go from there. At least get 2 opportunities. And the other thing is Maxey had been cooking. They went away from him the last 5 minutes of that game. They have chemistry stuff to figure out, obviously, with the Embiid part of it not even coming in yet. Mm-hmm. But like, I don't know how they're going to finish games.
Yeah, and like, I just don't know. I mean, Paul George's first game back, he's played 32 minutes. Heading into that was 1 for 7 from 3, 4 for 13 from the field, and that's what they drew him up. And I mean, I get like probably the tougher defensive assignment. Maxey was probably getting guarded a little bit more heavily or whatever, so it's harder to like run a play for him. But you had enough time. You had enough time to like draw something up there. Yeah, the Philly stuff's weird. Again, it's probably too hard to judge them right now. I know they are at the bottom. I mean, it is kind of wild. You look at the Eastern standings, and the 2 worst teams are the Sixers and the Bucks right now, and that's including the Atlanta Hawks, Detroit Pistons, Washington Wizards, Charlotte Hornets, and the Raptors. All have more wins than both of those teams. But I mean, like, I feel a little bit better about them bouncing back than I necessarily do about the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, health is always going to be a thing, but like Embiid coming, I mean, he's an MVP caliber guy, and Paul George's first game back, like they're going to string together some wins. But man, the freaking Bucks, I feel like, are in a lot of trouble.
The Bucks can't defend. You know, Jason Temp dropped a bunch of tweets, video analyzing the Bucks, and the big thing was, on their point of attack defense, they're giving up more than a point per possession on drives.
Yeah.
And it's like, you simply can't have that.
No.
Like, there's too many good athletic guards in this league that are going to run basic screen roll actions. And even if you have Brook Lopez and Giannis on the back line, they're going to get you in action. Brook or Giannis is going to have to come up to the level, or whether maybe they're in drop. But even if they're in drop, you're still giving up a point per possession. So, like, I don't really know where they go. I think is the problem here. Like, can they get back to 500? Yes. But can they compete on a real and serious way? I don't think so. Like, they need to make changes at this point.
I mean, they need their role guys to hit some shots. Like Brooke Lopez is off to a really slow shooting start. Gary Trent Jr. has been kind of MIA. He's been pretty bad. So yeah, they need something. Over on the west side, I want to see if anybody else is any other bad vibes. I know Steve's wanted us to talk about Wemby. Wemby almost with a triple double in blocks the other night. I believe that was against the Clippers in their win. He looked incredible. We finally got some upside stuff. The Clippers, though, on the other hand, after getting real excited about that start, they're 3-4 now. I still think they're like fine. I don't know if we have had any Kawhi update, but really the Pels were kind of the only team in the West, along with Denver, that I was nervous about vibes wise, because like, look, it's crazy. The Houston Rockets are 4-3. Lakers, Mavs, Timberwolves, Nuggets, Kings, and the Grizzlies are 4-4, but all those other teams are 4-3 right now. Then the Grizz are 4-4, and then a bunch of 3-4 and 3-5 teams outside of the Utah Jazz, who seem to have pulled the plug right away. Anybody like bad vibe wise you wanted to touch on the West?
Ooh, bad vibe wise. We've touched on Memphis a little bit, and the Pels, just kind of going over team defense right now. We touched on the Lakers. Do we have real and serious concerns about Sacramento? I know they got the win the other night, but I think the interesting thing with Sacramento is, as good as they've been offensively, defensively, they're like 18th right now.
Yeah.
And I do wonder, given how tough the West is, whether they can keep up, whether they can maintain the top 6 seed.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're going to beat the teams below them and lose to the teams ahead of them, like pretty consistently. I mean, a good win against Miami, who I think has been pretty mid to start the season. But other than that, it's been the Hawks, Jazz, and Trailblazers, with losses to the Lakers, Timberwolves, and Raptors. They have the Raptors tonight, which is in Toronto, and then they go Clippers, Suns, Spurs, Suns, Timberwolves. So yeah, they'll be a fun one to monitor. Like, they've been a fun team to watch, but I'm with you. I don't really have. This screams like 9 seed.
And with the Clippers, the thing that's surprising about them is how good they've been defensively.
Yeah.
They've been a top 10 team defensively this year, which is surprising. Without Kawhi.
Yeah.
And you're a team that's getting 35 to 40 minutes from James Harden. The fact that you're top 10 defense is kind of crazy. That said, they can't score. They are right now in team offense. They are like 24th, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're averaging 109 points per game right now. The best teams in the league are averaging like 120.
Yeah.
If you're that bad offensively, you're just not going to win enough games.
Yeah. And dude, speaking of that, Orlando is another team that is going to be in some trouble right now. We're 2 games from Paolo's injury, and I mean, the scoring's not really there. Like, Franz has picked it up a little bit, but it's just been tough sledding in their last couple of games here. They got, I think they kept this one a little bit closer, if my memory serves me right, with OKC. I mean, OKC still won handily by 16, but it stayed within range. But they got smoked by the Dallas Mavericks in the game before that. So I am a little bit nervous about Orlando, especially with they're a tough defensive team with almost all of their offense coming from 2 guys, and they were getting some good shooting from some guys around them, like in Suggs, and Franz has been a little bit better this season with the 3-ball. But part of the reason that happened is because Paolo has been so dominant. So like it opened things up for everybody else. Now that all of the focus can be on those guys like Franz and Suggs, I think it's going to make things a little bit more challenging. They play the Pacers tonight, and that'll be like a good litmus test, because the Pacers don't play defense. So if Orlando's able to put up points, maybe they, had a couple games under their belt, they look a little bit better now. Because the Pacers are also a team that's been kind of weird, where they are now starting to string together some W's after a slow start. But Halliburton has been, it's weird. He's like still putting up stats, but it doesn't seem like, I don't know. Maybe he's just not all the way there health-wise yet. I don't know. Do you have any Pacers takes, or Magic takes for that matter, as I just like monologue?
So quickly on the Magic, they're the 3rd worst offense in the league. Mm-hmm. And like, realistically, it feels like they're the worst because below
Right.
them are the Spurs and the Jazz, who
Right.
are like Spurs have been slightly better this year, but both of those teams are effectively tanking. The fact that the Magic want to be a top 4 team, Paolo Banchero said he thinks they're a top 4 team.
Mhm.
The Banchero injury kills them. And the one thing that the Banchero injury kind of exposes is they built this team around having big depth, but the problem is none of those bigs can score outside of Paolo. So
Yeah.
like
No.
you're like it's a whole lot of Jonathan Isaac, a guy who can't stay healthy as it is, and
Right.
it's not ideal.
I mean, even Wendell Carter Jr. just keeps getting dinged up too. So like he's like in for a game, out for a game. I mean, Mo Wagner, kind of similar to the Jose Alvarado thing, man. If he's playing 22 to 25 minutes, I think that's really good. And if he's playing 32 minutes, I think that's really bad. So
Yeah. And then on the Pacers, so I think here's the thing about Pacers. Spacing wise, they're phenomenal. Offensively, we know what they are. Like Benedict Mathurin has been,
he's been great. He's been
top
good
10
this
games
season.
here. Got kind of a revelation for them.
Mhm.
There was some thought that he was kind of going to be like a 7th, 8th man, and he's really been closer to a 6th man for them.
Mhm.
Miles Turner's been great so far.
Yeah, he's been really hot.
But the Hallie shooting numbers are
Yeah, it's weird.
ooh, let's quickly just dive into those. So he is averaging because I've got his numbers here, his shooting splits. All right, so we got field goals attempted. So Hallie's averaging sitting 5.6 makes a game, 14 shots, 38% from the field, 24% from 3. 2 of 8 from 3
Yeah.
a game.
Yeah.
Like you can't have that.
No, I
You can't
was
shoot 24% from 3 in today's NBA.
I was watching
on
the
80
game.
attempts a game.
I was watching the game against Dallas, which they won 134-127. And in the fourth quarter, I kind of noticed that he wasn't really looking for the shot. And which I think was honestly like the right basketball move, where he was just making sure he was getting the ball to the guys that needed it and was facilitating. And they looked good. D Rose, I know he was joking a little bit more. He said he's the new age MCW, but then I've been hearing a lot about this. LaMelo on the Pacers instead of Hallie, and they win 55 games. I can't really tell. I think it's probably pretty comparable. I think the Hornets would be bad if Hallie was on the Hornets, and I think LaMelo on the Pacers is probably a similar thing. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not ready to write off Halliburton. I think it's still a little too early. And he was battling health stuff, as you mentioned, Mike, the last time you were on in the Olympics. Like he was still hurt, battling an injury, and those the soft tissue stuff lingers forever. And maybe he's not feeling 100% confident in himself physically or mentally right now. So I'm not writing it off yet. It's still early, but it's definitely concerning.
And the weird thing was they didn't disclose what the injury was.
Right.
So like that's the other thing is we don't even know what's wrong.
Right.
Like some kind of lower body injury. Was it a strain?
Yeah.
Like what level was it? Depending on what it was, we just don't know. And like, it's similar to Embiid in some ways in that if you don't disclose kind of what's happening, people are just going to actively talk about it and be like, this guy kind of sucks right now. And we don't really know why. And if you're going to come back later and be like, well, actually I was hurt for X, Y, and Z reason. It doesn't help you in the moment. You might as well just disclose it.
Yeah.
Take 2 or 3 weeks off and then come back. Yeah. Now the Pacers made feel that they just can't do that at this point. And their schedule is like, not terrible, but it's tough-ish. Orlando, Charlotte, New York, Orlando, Miami, Toronto, Houston, Milwaukee,
I think like as a regular season team, I think they're fine. Like I think they'll string together some wins and they'll be in that 3 to 6 conversation in the East like throughout the season. The problem is like this really hampers their ceiling, as like an actual playoff team making a run. You need Halliburton being like, third team all NBA type guard or in that conversation. And right now he's not.
Well, the difference between home court and being the 6th seed is really where Hallie is right now.
Right.
Like you can maintain as a top 16 and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well,
especially if the Bucks suck.
Yeah, look, I mean, right now, if you look at the standings, right now, the Chicago Bulls are the 6th seed.
There you go. Giddy up.
Right? So I think the Bulls are going to fall back. But
Yeah, of course. If
if you're Indy, you got to think like we made some real moves, including Siakam, who's been fantastic. I just don't know if Hallie comes back like a week or two later and it's just like, yeah, I'm hurting. I need the time off.
Yeah. All right, let's get to some underdog picks here as I switch the screen up a little bit. That's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. And let's figure out some pick'ems for tonight. So we've got a handful of games. What are we looking at tonight? We've got Detroit against Charlotte. So get ready for some Jalen Duren. Magic Pacers we mentioned. The Knicks against the Hawks. Trae Young's questionable, which kind of sucks because that game is going to be dog shit if we don't have Trae Young. Golden State of Boston we mentioned, and then I feel like the Spurs and the Rockets are playing for like the 9th time already this season. Şengün's been freed after that most recent game against the Knicks, but he's been really bad against the Spurs, so I'd actually be nervous about about Şengün in this one.
Quick note on the Şengün stuff. Are you shocked how little Ime is playing him in fourth quarters? I know we talked about this the other night on playback, but like the Ime Şengün stuff is weird. It's one of the like slow burning storylines, given that Şengün signed 5 for 150.
I wonder if they're doing more matchup based stuff, like because like the Spurs games, they're not closing with them, and I wonder if defensively it's just a nightmare. But with the Knicks against Cat, he like played the whole fourth quarter almost, was out there and was dominant. So yeah, I mean I was definitely surprised by it, but well. I wonder if it's more matchup based. We got Zion is queued up with a Q tag against the Pellies, which kind of sucks. Chicago and Dallas tonight. OKC and Denver, which would have been more enticing if everybody was playing. And then we got Miami and Phoenix. Philly against the Clips. Oh wait, Yeah, this is the same day. Philly against the Clips, and then Toronto against Sacramento. Wait, is that right? Is that big of a slate? Yeah. Why am I not seeing that? Hold on one second. I want to see something, what they have to offer on this NBA slate here. Is it all the same slate here? Do they have all the games? Let's see. Oh, it's not. Oh, they split up the slate again. We got a late slate and an early slate. That's fun. I was like, I wasn't seeing OKC and Denver on this. That's great. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Well, I know I was mentioning we're on a little bit of a heater here in the NBA street. So make sure you're tuning into this is from the split slate there. We did some massive entrants here, but we had a nice night on both of the early slate and the late slate on Monday, and then crushed on Saturday, crushed on Friday. So back in action here. But let's build a pick 'em tonight. I do want to start with Jalen Duren because again, against Charlotte, that we're just going to do that. And it's how many rebounds is it? 11.5. Yeah, sure. Let's go higher. Anybody got some? Wait, he says first quarter points feels free. Okay. What's that? How many is it? It's 2.5. All right, let's do it. Fine. Let's live a little. The other one I want, Durant assists was something I was poking around at. I don't know if they have it on the board here. But if it's 3.5 assists, no, they don't have assists listed. That's not what I was looking for. Mike, anything you wanted to target here with the Celtics and the Warriors since you're going to be on playback? Oh, is Mike frozen for good? That's fun. Honestly, it's nice to have somebody on the shows whose internet sucks worse than mine. Oh, is he back? Mike. Oh, you're muted though. All right, good. We'll just keep you on here. You start talking when you feel like it.
Are we good?
Yeah, now you're back. I was saying, do you have any Celtics Warriors takes for tonight?
Fucking StreamYard. I can say it. Let's see. I kind of like Tatum assists.
Tatum assists 5.5. All right, let's do that.
Maybe we boost that up.
Yeah, just go up to 6.5.
So here's the thought process: with no Jaylen Brown, there's going to be heavy doubles thrown his way. And I just think they're going to try to have guys like White and Peyton Pritchard make shots. Same Drew. Like, we're going to throw big doubles at you and just try to go from there.
So I'm going to throw.
Go ahead. I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe we, instead of total points, we target White threes.
All right, let's see what that looks like. 3.5 threes is a little under what you think. You like 4 threes for
No,
White?
let's just 2 points.
Yeah. I agree. I was gonna look for Peyton Pritchard. They don't have that up there. But I like that. Any other takes in the chat? Let's try to find some other stuff here. Do we have any boosts too? Just for NHL.
Oh, that's interesting. I have a discount code.
There you go. Did you have an injury thing that happened?
No. I
Let's
just got a random discount code.
Here we go. Let's do over LaMelo 6.5 assists. That was another one that I liked from somebody I follow. That was pretty sharp. Also, like just really targeting this game here, like Jaden Ivey over assists. Jaden Ivey's been playing great. This is a 26xer here. So we got a lot of Detroit, Charlotte, and then some Boston. So we got Duren over 2.5 points in the first quarter, 6.5 dimes from Tatum, 19.5 points from Derek White, 6.5 dimes from LaMelo, 4.5 assists. Let's do let's actually make a bet here. We're going to do 22, get us at an even number to 589. There we go. That is going to, so what did I say? It was like 26x. Oh my God. We're in a VPN. All right. I'm going to read it out. Well, oh God, it's just like, sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
While Mike's putting that in, just a quick note on the Celtics for the game tonight. We mentioned no Jaylen Brown. I think the interesting thing is they've gone double big, but they started Kata the other night, which was interesting. He played really well. So I wonder if they start Kata over Luke to give them someone more athletic to go at someone like Draymond.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Just to give them a slightly different look. And they split those big minutes up, like across the board. Tillman's been the odd man out of the rotation. Kata seems to have really taken that like third, quote unquote, big. But something to think about there. Also for SORARE, he's very, very cheap right now.
Yeah, I like that call. So for those that are listening or watching, so I'm gonna do this pick'em twice. So I'm gonna do it with the Jalen Duren over 2.5 first quarter points, Tatum over 6.5 assists, White 19.5 points, Ivy over 4.5 assists, and LaMelo over 6.5 assists. I'm going to, for the second one, I'm going to run it again. And then this time I'm going to do Duren rebounds, or maybe just Duren points, rebounds, and assists. That's 26.5. I think we're just going to do that. So basically the same thing, but just a little bit different, just to give us 2 different outs on that. Not saying you should do it twice, but that is what I'm doing. So if you go look at live and then pick'ems. So here we go. I ran it a couple of times here. This one I think I just did for 10. You can see it right there. And that's with Jalen Duren, 26.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And then the other one here with 2.5 first quarter points, just to give us some outs on that, because I like this one quite a bit. But I think that's going to do it. Mike, anything else cooking you want to talk about here for a second?
Nah, we're good. I mean, we got playback tonight, playback.tv/NBA bit. Sneaks is going to be on tonight as usual. I did throw some DMs out there. It feels 50-50 whether we're going to get a guest tonight. We'll see.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. But otherwise, yeah, it should be a fun one. I think it's a Duren night, Charles.
Yeah, me too. I like that environment quite a bit. It's 8.22 for me with Duren rebounds. Oh, did you adjust the Tatum assist though? Because we moved the Tatum assist up 1. That was part of it. We went from 5.5 to 6.5. I don't know if that does it for you. Yeah, and I feel you. D-Rose. I feel you. All right, so just a reminder, this is what we got going on. We'll have a VIP show over on the Elite Fantasy Hoops channel. That's going to be cooking here in a couple of hours. I'm going to try to get value hunting up later today, and then the 89 Cavs should be back tonight, hopefully at 6 p.m., worst case 7 p.m. Trying to get it done before basketball action starts. So, yeah, make sure you tune into all that stuff. Click all the buttons. And then on Friday we'll be back with NBA Bit and some live before lock. And then we're getting closer to the Emirates Cup, getting excited about the Emirates Cup, getting excited to be out there in Vegas. It's going to be a good time. Weisberg, thanks for getting up early, man, and jumping on. Make sure you guys tune in to playback tonight for some Celtics Warriors. Get ready. We're out of here, guys.